Been challenging for promotion for much of the season, but a run of 3 defeats in a row has raised a few question marks about Charlton's staying power. It's also stirred a few unhappy memories. Charlton have been in this position before, and it's all gone wrong.
Striker Gary Nelson recalls the bad times vividly. His best-selling book, Left Foot Forward, starts at the finish of Charlton's '94 season, when the side had been challenging for promotion. But an FA Cup tie defeat at Manchester United effectively pulled the plug.
It was after about 31 games, I believe, and we had about 51 points, 4 away games and a big cup tie. And I think the problem around here at the moment is that there's an awful lot of people only too willing to remind everybody that's exactly the same situation we found ourselves in this season.
The fatalists and the doubters pointed to last month's FA Cup defeat at Liverpool as the beginning of the end this time round. Their argument was given weight when Charlton lost at Portsmouth, and then last Tuesday they suffered their heaviest home defeat of the season, beaten 3-0 by Southend.
Calamity for Brown. 2 in 2 minutes for Southend United.
Afterwards, Alan Kirbishley had to admit there were eerie similarities to the form guide of '94. History had to stop repeating itself, starting with Saturday's game against Millwall. That meant trying to spend money. Charlton's remarkable youth policy has yielded 7 first-team players in the last year and saved the club a small fortune. But last week, Kirbishley told his board they needed to dust off the chequebook.
It's been well documented that perhaps at the start of the season we had the smallest squad in our league. The young boys have come through and made it a little bit bigger squad. But we're encountering injuries and suspensions at the moment, and 2 years ago we weren't in a position to be able to change that. Hopefully this time we are in a position.
Millwall's Chris Malkin would have been Charlton's first cash signing in 18 months, but a £400,000 move was put off because of a knee problem. The experienced defender Chris Whyte did sign from Birmingham until the end of the season, boosting the squad and suggesting Charlton were determined to learn from their mistakes of 2 years ago.
Do you think it will happen again?
No, I don't think it will. I think we're in a better position this time round. And as I said, we've got to prove it to an awful lot of people that are just waiting for us to fall away, that we've got a little bit more resilience than that.
If there is one thing you need most of all now to make sure it doesn't happen again, what is that element, do you feel?
Character and team spirit, and a willingness to pull together, and a belief that we can do it.
The Millwall match, a fixture with a genuine derby edge, was guaranteed to test that team spirit, but any fraying nerves were settled by the youngest player on the pitch. Lee Bowyer's emergence is one big difference from 2 years ago, and his brilliant goal was a real boost just 5 minutes in. But Bowyer's imminent suspension is another reason Alan Kirbishley believes he needs several new players. There's a competitive edge to Bowyer's game, and he can become rather excited. Fortunately for Charlton, referee David Allison preferred not to reach for his top pocket every time there was a full-blooded challenge. The sensible course of action. Both sides were encouraged to try and play constructive football at a high tempo. Charlton threatened to start the second half as they did the first, when Kim Grant scurried away down the left. His cross wrong-footed the Millwall defence, but Casey Keller stood firm to block Carl Leaburn's shot. Fatigue and a certain amount of anxiety began to set into Charlton's side. They started to rely heavily on Chris Whyte's experience and organisational skills. And Millwall's profligacy in attack. Only Luton Town have scored fewer goals in Division 1 this season. Charlton brought on the experienced Mark Robson and Gary Nelson to help them close out the game. They did more than that. A minute from the end, Nelson's deflected shot dropped in just the right place, and Leaburn doubled Charlton's money. Even the manager broke into something approaching a smile. It was 60 years since the Charlton side had completed the double over Millwall. Much more important were the points, and ending all that talk of the inevitable slide into mid-table oblivion.
We're fed up with that, the fact that against all the odds and all that, this club's being run properly at the moment, and we've set about building a football club, and people can write us off if they want. They wrote us off at the start of the season. I'm sure, given a fair wind and a fair amount of luck, which everyone needs, we'll be there with a shout.
Sunderland have become the first league opposition to beat Derby in 4 months. They moved to within 4 points of the leaders, and they have 2 games in hand. Charlton's win moves them 2 points clear of Stoke City. A win for Watford, but they're still 6 points behind because Port Vale won to move level with West Brom and Oldham. Luton and Grimsby lost again, but the 5 sides above them all drew.
Part of the programme, we reflected on what an important weekend it was for Charlton. They got the win they needed. Carl Lavin, one of the scorers alongside me. Carl, it was a massive weekend for the club, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was a good morale boosting win today. Unfortunately, we lost to Southend in the week, 3-0, so the lads were a bit down, especially as we're pushing for promotion. So I think it was very important to get a result today.
And there was this feeling as well, reflecting on 2 years ago, what went wrong, this feeling of an uncanny similarity. You've laid that one now, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. As I say, I was in a similar position, I think it was 2 years ago, playing Man United, and after that we lost something like 8-9 games. And we ended up middle of the table, but and it looked that way starting off against Portsmouth and Southend, but hopefully we've put a halt to that and we can go on from there.
You've been at the club for a long time. I think you even remember the days when you were in the top division. Not
Yep.
to age you too much.
Yeah, you know, we had I think John Humphreys, who's come back from Crystal Palace, he was there, and a few others. But this is a new era now, like a younger team, and hopefully we can do good things.
Have you got the nerve now for this running? Is that what it's all about for a young team?
Yeah, I think it's just professional things, and yeah, just having that nerve to maybe play when it's on to play. I think the signing of Chris Whyte's been a very good signing, and I think there's others to come.
Is that important now? Do you see the board have to also back the manager?
Yeah, as I said 2 years ago, I don't know, for whatever reasons, we didn't get players in, and we petered out. Hopefully we can get a few players in, and that just gives the team a boost at the right time.
Despite the competition for places and all that, you wouldn't be too worried about seeing another striker come in, maybe?
Well, that's even better. That'll keep you on your toes even more. So, you know, that's what football's all about, competition and just keeping your place. And hopefully we can just go on from there.
And it's about time in a way. I suppose this club did spend some money. I know they've had other priorities.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we've having other priorities, getting back to the valley, fixing up the valley. Maybe we haven't had the money to spend on the actual team. Maybe that's turning around there.
The top 6 place?
Well, we want to go straight up if we can, you know. As I say, I think we've got the players to do it. We've just got to, you know, hold our nerve. If we can get these signings, I don't see why we can't be up there.
Carl, thanks very much. OK, we're back next week. Join us then for all the goals and the news. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.